Hello everyone, this is Warhawk Beyond 2040 and welcome to another edition of the Supergirl Season 6 review series. And today I am going to be talking about Episode 4, Lost Souls, which I have just finished watching earlier. And this episode was really good. I really enjoyed this one a lot. And I'm going to give a quick recap of what's happened so far. And then we're going to get straight into talking about Episode 4. So basically what's happened so far is Supergirl is trapped in the Phantom Zone and she's reunited with her Kryptonian father, Zor-El, and they encounter Mixius Pitlick's sister, Nixley, and she's now regained her magical powers, and they're basically trying to find a way to get out of the Phantom Zone. And meanwhile, on the outside, Lena, Jean, Magaran, Alex and Brainiac 5 and Dreamer, they're all working tirelessly to try and get Supergirl out of the Phantom Zone. But, however, several Phantoms have escaped and now they're on a mission to try and get all of the Phantoms back and try and get Kara back as well. So I'm really enjoying this story arc so far, and considering the fact that this is going to be the final season for the show, they are off to a strong start so far. We are now 4 episodes into Season 6, and they're knocking it out of the park. You know, I'm really loving what they're doing so far, and I'm just really curious to know how exactly they are going to pay this off, how they're going to get Supergirl out of the Phantom Zone. And another interesting dynamic to this story arc is Supergirl is not only trapped in the Phantom Zone, she hasn't got her powers, so she's having to rely on not just other people more than usual, but she's having to rely on her wit and her instincts about what to do in certain situations. So I'm liking the direction that they're going with for this season, because we've seen in the past Supergirl has always been managed to punch her way out of situations. So to actually see her relying on her mind to work out situations that she's in is very good. So, you know, with that all said, I'm really enjoying this story arc that they're going with for the final season. So, with that all said, let's get right into it. Let's talk about Episode 4, Lost Souls. So, we see Nixley is using her powers to jump herself, Kara and Zor-El through different areas of the Phantom Zone. And while the jumps are getting to Kara, they've managed to find what they are looking for, the anchor that Kara believes is the way home. They get into what is essentially the base and find out what it's supposed to be, and it's the exit, something that's a mirror that shows the righteous to their home, and find it to be apparently broken as it only shows them their own reflection. Kara asks Nixley to use her magic to fix it, but to no avail. Zor-El is ready to give up, but Kara encourages him to think like Astra, and he realises she would have built a second mirror. After splitting up to search, Zor-El finds it but is attacked by a Phantom Zone prisoner, although Nixley chases them off. She is unable to use magic to fix his broken ankle. Because he's injured, they have had to leave him behind so they can use the mirror to escape. Meanwhile, in the tower, Magaran is suffering after the effects of nearly being turned into a phantom in the form of the Nightmares. Brainiac 5 works on more new containment units for the Phantom Progeny, while Lena gets welcomed to the tower and officially welcomed into the team. Magaran realises she's connected to Prime Phantom and had a vision of his lair, but there's a plus side to it. She can sense life forms, which means she can locate Supergirl in the Phantom Zone and free the Phantom Progeny as well. Lena has come up with a way to trap the Phantom, which is literally a proto-trap that Brainiac 5 refers to as something out of Ghostbusters. Things don't quite go to plan though. Prime shows up and takes the new progeny with them, while Magaran is unable to keep up with the life force. Brainiac 5 realises that the rest of Magaran's soul is still trapped with the Prime Phantom, and once he reaches maturity, the souls trapped will be lost forever. However, they realise if they don't stop Prime, they won't be able to use Magaran's power to find Kara. After a brief discussion, they decide to try to do both. Lena decides to try and use the Q-waves to duplicate Magaran's sensing powers, but in order to do that, she will need some of Kara's DNA. It turns out that the core of the crystal with Kara's legacy record contains essentially Kara's DNA. Alex gives it to Lena to use. I think it's nice that we finally see things come full circle, because if you remember, for the past couple of seasons, Lena had been on this weird crossroads where it was questioned whether she'll be a good person or a bad guy, and ultimately it looked like at one point she was going to be the main villain back in season 5, but thankfully that didn't happen. So to have a Luthor on Supergirl's team makes all the difference, and it looks like to me she's finally redeemed herself. But let's just all remember her last name is Luthor, and Luthors should never be trusted. So let's just bear that in mind. But I'm so far enjoying the redemption story that they're doing for Lena Luthor. Teaming up with McGann, Dreamer astral projects to Prime's lair. She finds the chrysalis and discovers it's starting to solidify and that they are running out of time. Brainiac 5 says they only have an hour left. Lena finishes her device, but with time running out, Alex makes the decision to use the device to find the chrysalis. Lena breaks down, blaming herself for Kara being gone, and Alex gives her a pep talk and encourages her to forgive herself and then takes the device from her. This was actually a really good scene because Lena actually showed genuine remorse for all of her actions, and Supergirl's team, being the ever optimistic and hopeful people that they are, forgive her and say, you know, what's done is done, it's in the past, Kara's forgiven you, we've forgiven you, you're a part of this team now, and we want you here with us to help us get Kara back. So that was a nice little redemption scene for Lena. We then see Kara and Nixie activates the mirror, and Kara goes to get her father, but Nixie stops her, trying to convince her that Zor-El is beyond saving, and then Nixie reveals her true colours. Yeah, I had a feeling that Nixie would eventually reveal her true colours because, you know, there was just something that was a bit off about her, but this doesn't come as a big surprise to me, but it was still kind of cool to see anyway. She reveals that she attacked Zor-El. She wanted Kara to activate the portal to get her to Earth so she can unleash her powers there. Nixie and Kara fights but accidentally trigger the self-destruct mechanism, so Kara destroys the portal home. And when Nixie won't escape with her, Supergirl runs out as the whole place self-destructs. Kara escapes but watches in horror as the whole base explodes, presumably with Father and Nixie still trapped inside. Yeah, that sucks for Kara. Meanwhile, we see Supergirl's friends attack Prime's lair to the sewers and are soon attacked by phantoms. Jean is injured and infected by one, telling the team to run. Brainiac 5 is next. Alex and Dreamer make their way to the chalice and find it is guarded by numerous phantoms. Dreamer makes a safe barrier for Alex, though she is herself attacked and turned, leaving Alex alone to destroy the chrysalis. She manages to escape as Prime arrives to attack her and saves everyone who had been turned. Dreamer is able to subdue Prime, and Brainiac 5 captures him in the proto-trap. Lena and Alex talk after everything is done with the chrysalis. Lena tells Alex that she doesn't think she belongs in the tower. She says she's not like them, but Alex tells her that the entire time all she wanted was to go and save her sister, explaining that the decision isn't to serve the greater good, isn't always black and white for her either. Alex also explains that they're all different and that's what makes the team works. Lena belongs there and she always will be. It's funny to see Alex and Lena were kind of at each other's throats for a couple of seasons, but it's nice to see them now fully on the same page. So I'm looking forward to seeing what happens with these two in the next couple of episodes. We then learn that Nia has been having dream visions of a young Kara and Alex back at Midvale High, but she doesn't fully understand why. After dealing with Prime, Lena realizes that they can use the Phantom to track Kara by instinct, but they need her DNA, and that's when they realize what Nia's dreams are all about. They come to the conclusion that they need to go back in time to high school in Midvale to collect more of Kara's DNA, and that pretty much ends episode 4 and my review. Like I said, excellent episode, one of the best of season 6 so far. You know, Nixie revealing her true colours, not fully surprised, but at the same time, a decent twist. I'm curious to know whether or not Nixie and Zor-El actually survived, but time will tell. Lena finally redeeming herself and getting on the same page with not just everybody in the team, but especially Alex Danvers was a nice little redemption scene, I thought, and I'm really looking forward to seeing what Lena is going to bring to the table now that she's a full-fledged good guy. but I still think she could possibly turn. So that's going to be it from me. I am going to wrap this up now. What did you think of episode 4? Did you enjoy it? What was your thoughts on Nixie revealing her true colours? Are you surprised or not really? How do you think they're going to get Kara out of the Phantom Zone? And what kind of role do you think going back in time to Midvale High will play to get more of Kara's DNA? Lots of interesting questions, but we're just going to have to wait till episode 5 to find out. With that all said, you know what to do, guys. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, leave your thoughts and comments down below, and I will be back next time for another edition of the Supergirl Season 6 review series, where I'll be talking about episode 5, which I am very much looking forward to talking about. So until next time, take care everybody, and stay safe, and once again, thanks for listening.